Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to On and Off the Road again. I am out again riding another motorcycle. I want to thank you again to Sturgis Motorsports for letting me bring out another model. Get to bring out a Yamaha FZ09, a 2015 model year, and haven't ridden this style of Yamaha yet. So this is my first time out on kind of their sport naked type bikes. The FZ09, which has now become the MT09, because the FZ09 was the American version. The MT09 has always been the one in Europe, and they combined the name, or kind of went to the one name in recent years. But really smooth bike. Gonna get out and take it for some more miles and get a little bit more experience on it. But it is triple 115 horsepower, and this particular one has a top case added to it, which you'll see here shortly. And I'll do a walk around, share a little bit of my feedback on how it rides, and without me jabbering on here further, let's get into what the bike looks like. Here we go. After riding the FZ09 out on the interstate, a little bit on the road, and the power is definitely there. Super responsive, and you do have different ride modes, which I'll show you when I go into the walk around. But one thing it's not made for: open road with lots of wind. We popped on the interstate just to get a feel for the power, and it happens to be a really windy day, and you feel every bit of it, because it's a naked bike, and that's the feel you get. But when it's windy, get ready to hold on, because you feel a lot of it. This particular one also doesn't have the factory grips, and I'm not even sure if they're the factory bars, but I find that the grip size is not comfortable for me. And I mean, I ride a whole bunch of different sizes, but it's just not a good fit for my hands, at least. That's just me. But a couple things I wanted to share there, and it shifts really nice. This particular one still has all the factory exhaust, so it's pretty quiet, but it is super responsive on power. And I'll go into the walk around, and you can see all the Yamaha FZ09 or FZ09, depending on how you pronounce it. They're sport naked, which is now the MT09, but they really haven't changed a whole lot as far as the power plant and drivetrain. They changed the styling a little bit over the years, and the gauge cluster, which I'm going to go over, but you can see it's a pretty bare bones setup. Got your chain drive, 6-speed, really nice shifting, smooth transmission. It is not a quick shifter though, at least not on this one. The new ones may have a factory quick shifter, but you can see the way this suspension is designed. It's a little bit different as far as the position of that shock on the rear, on the swing arm, but it rides pretty well. It actually rides a little bit softer than my Suzuki. But the one thing I will say, this seat is it's very firm, and for me, I feel like the way that it's angled here, it's what pushes me forward, which I don't love. I'd rather it be a little bit more flat, but that's just my preference. This particular one has the top case that's been added, but it's got dual front calipers. Brakes work really well on this, and I believe it's just a pretty simple setup. It is inverted front forks, very responsive, really easy turn in, and you can see the exhaust there for the triple inline 3-cylinder, kind of Yamaha's style there on these. Them and Triumph are about the only ones that do 3-cylinder that I know of. And in this particular instance, you can see they did an undermount exhaust, which, even though it's undermount, it's really quiet, which I'm going to start it up here in a minute so you can hear that. But it's set up so you can't have a passenger, and the seat height is not too terrible for a passenger. You don't sit up too much higher than the main rider, so you still get a little bit of wind coverage from the rider. But it's a pretty nice package overall. The performance of it is really nice. It's really smooth. One thing, I don't terribly love the shape of the tank, at least with my knees. My knees kind of hit right in this area and not actually on the pad, which that's just, I guess, how I'm built. But controls are pretty simple. You've got your signals, your horn, your lights there. Then you can flash your lights up here on the trigger. Then over here, you've got your emergency flashers. There are 3 ride modes, your kill switch. And then I'm going to turn it on here, and you can see this is a pretty basic display, kind of a basic digital, old school by today's standards. But you do have the different ride modes right there. And if I hit the mode button, it actually changes between A, B, and standard. And A gives you, I guess, better throttle response at low to mid-range RPMs. B is more of a touring mode, and then standard is, I guess, for general riding. You do have a gear selector that shows here. Excuse me. But you've got a nice tack as far as a nice rev range, you can see there. And then your odometer, speed, all digital. Nothing terribly fancy here, but let's start this up. And it's quiet, as you can see here. Really nice bike. The Yamaha FZ09, really fun ride. If it was me, a couple things I would change would be, at least in comparison to the way this one is set up, these are not the factory grips. I can't stand these grips personally. Not for me. And I don't know if it's the texture or just because they're fat, but I don't like them. And I don't know if this is the factory handlebar or not, but I don't like the angle either for me. The way these are when I'm riding, I feel like my hand has to be cocked this way instead of a more natural, straight position, kind of like the way my Suzuki is. But other than that, this bike rides really nice. It's nimble, it's fun to ride, it's responsive, and it's got lots of power. But I'm going to... I have my son with me today and joining me on a ride. That is the Yamaha FZ09 2015. And if you have any questions or comments, put them down below. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great day. Be blessed.